The darkness down here isn't like anything you've ever experienced. Not the darkness of a room with the lights turned off. Not the darkness beneath your eyelids when you squeeze them shut. This is something alive. Something watching. I've been down here for, I don't know anymore. My watch stopped 3 days after I fell. Or at least, I think it was 3 days. Time behaves differently when you're swallowed by the earth. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I was an experienced caver. 13 years of exploration. Countless descents into the unknown. The Koseva system was just another challenge, another notch in my belt. A newly discovered vertical cave in Eastern Europe, rumored to be one of the deepest in the world. The locals wouldn't go near it. They called it the throat. Said it swallowed things. Said sometimes you could hear it breathing. I should have listened. The descent started normally enough. My team and I had prepared for months, mapping the known sections, planning our route, bringing enough supplies for a week underground. There were 5 of us, me, Eliza, Tomas, Javi, and Mira, all veterans, all confident. The trouble began on day 2. At approximately 900 meters down, we'd reached a large chamber that wasn't on any of our preliminary maps. The locals who'd found the cave entrance hadn't ventured this deep. The chamber was enormous, the ceiling so high our headlamps couldn't reach it, and in the center, a narrow fissure, like a smiling mouth in the rock. "I don't like this," Mira said, her voice echoing slightly. "The rock formation here is unstable." I should have listened to her. Mira was our geologist, but I was the expedition leader, and we'd come too far to turn back. "We'll take it slow," I said. "Javi, take point. Let's see where this goes." The fissure was tight but passable. It descended at a sharp angle, requiring us to rappel carefully through jagged limestone that tore at our suits and equipment. After about 30 meters, it opened into another chamber, smaller than the first, but with something unusual. The floor was perfectly smooth, like polished marble, and in the center, a perfect circular hole, about 3 meters across. Tomas whistled. "That's not natural. Could be water erosion," Eliza suggested, but she didn't sound convinced. We gathered around the edge and shined our lights down. Our beams disappeared into nothingness. I dropped a glow stick. We watched it fall, a tiny green star swallowed by perfect blackness. We never heard it hit bottom. "I'm getting unusual readings," Mira said, checking her instruments. "The air composition down there, it's different." "Different how?" I asked. She frowned. "Higher oxygen content, and something else. Something I can't identify." That should have been our final warning. We should have marked the spot on our maps and retreated to the surface, returned with better equipment, more people. But there's a particular madness that grips explorers when they're on the verge of discovery, a hunger that overrides caution. "I'm going down," I said, already securing my ropes to a sturdy stalagmite. "Eliza, you're my backup. The rest of you stay here until I signal." I still remember their faces as I prepared to descend. Concern, excitement, fear. Tomas handed me an extra light. "Don't be a hero," he said. "First sign of trouble, you come back up." I nodded, then turned and lowered myself into the hole. The descent was smooth at first. The walls of the vertical shaft were as unnaturally smooth as the chamber floor above. My headlamp beam couldn't reach the bottom, but I estimated I'd need about 100 meters of rope. At around 60 meters down, I felt it. A subtle shift in the air pressure, a whisper of movement, and then my headlamp flickered. Once, twice, then went out completely. I activated my backup light. Nothing. Complete darkness enveloped me. "Hey," I called up. "Can you shine your lights down? I've lost power." No response. "Eliza, Tomas." My voice echoed strangely, as if the shaft had suddenly widened. Still nothing. I reached for my radio, but it was dead too. Panic started to rise in my chest. I was suspended in absolute darkness, my lifeline a single rope that suddenly felt very fragile. I decided to ascend. Using the mechanical ascenders attached to my harness, I began to climb back up the rope, hand over hand. 5 meters, 10 meters, 15. I should have seen light from above by now. My team would be shining their lights down, looking for me. But there was nothing. Just more darkness. That's when I felt it. A subtle vibration in the rope. Then a stronger one. The rope was moving. Not the normal swaying of a climber, but rhythmic pulses, as if something was plucking it from above, or from below. And then I heard it. A sound that still haunts my dreams. A low, would gurgle, like water draining from a massive pipe. But there was a cadence to it, an intelligence. It was coming from below me, and it was getting louder. That's when my rope snapped. I fell for what seemed like an eternity. There was no sensation of air rushing past, no acceleration, just a feeling of being gently pulled downward by something vast and patient. When I hit, it wasn't the hard impact I expected. It was soft, yielding, like landing on a giant pillow, or in a mouth. I scrambled to my feet, disoriented and terrified. I fumbled through my pack for anything that might produce light. My fingers closed around a magnesium flare, an emergency measure. With shaking hands, I struck it. The sudden light was blinding. As my eyes adjusted, I realized I was standing on tissue. Red, glistening, organic matter that pulsed subtly beneath my feet. The walls around me were the same. Not rock, but something like the inside of a cheek or throat. And they were moving, contracting and expanding slowly, like breathing. The flare sputtered in my hand, threatening to go out. In desperation, I reached for my knife and cut a small piece of the floor material. It bled, and then it screamed, not with sound, but with vibration. The entire chamber shuddered in what could only be pain. The reaction was immediate. The floor beneath me tilted, and I was sliding, tumbling deeper into this organic nightmare. The flare dropped from my hand, extinguishing itself against the wet tissue walls. I've been in darkness ever since, but not in silence, not in stillness. This place, this thing I'm inside, makes sounds, digestion sounds, and sometimes, in the distance, I hear voices, familiar voices. Eliza calling my name, Tomas laughing, Javi singing softly, as he used to do when setting up camp. They're not real. They can't be, but they sound so close sometimes. I've tried to map this place by touch and sound. There are chambers, tunnels, sphincters that open and close periodically. The air is breathable but heavy with moisture and the smell of copper, like blood. I've found other things too. Hard objects embedded in the soft walls. Objects with familiar shapes. A camera, a helmet, a human femur, picked clean. I'm not the first to be swallowed. Yesterday, or what I think was yesterday, I found water. A small pool, warm and slightly viscous, but drinkable. It kept me alive but made my thoughts fuzzy, dreamlike. I suspect it's laced with some kind of natural sedative, the entity's way of keeping its prey docile. But I refuse to be docile. I refuse to be digested quietly in this living tomb. I've been systematically testing the walls, looking for sensitive spots, places where my touch causes the entity pain. I've found several. When pressed or cut, they make the entire structure convulse. It's my only weapon. And I've found something else. A rhythm to the breathing. A pattern to the movements. This entity, whatever it is, sleeps. And when it sleeps, some of the sphincters relax. Passages open. I've been mapping them, waiting for my chance. I think it's asleep now. The walls are moving more slowly. The gurgling sounds have subsided to a low hum. There's a passage to my right that's been consistently closed until now. I can feel air flowing through it, cooler, fresher air. I'm going to try it. This might be my last chance. If you're reading this. No, no one will ever read this. I'm writing in my mind only. A way to keep myself sane in the darkness. Wait, something's changing. The walls are contracting more rapidly. The humming is getting louder. And there's something new. A sound like distant voices, but not the familiar ones that have been tormenting me. These are different. Excited. Getting closer. A rescue team. Could someone have reported us missing? Could they have found the cave? Descended to this impossible depth? No. No. That's what it wants me to think. That's how it lures you deeper. With hope. But I have no choice. The passage is closing again. It's now or never. I'm running now. hands outstretched in the darkness, following the cool air. The floor beneath me is sloping upward. The tissue under my feet is becoming harder, more like stone. There's light ahead, faint flickering, but definitely light, and voices, clearer now. "Hello," I call out, my voice raw and unfamiliar after so long in silence. "Is anyone there?" The voices stop, then a response, distorted but unmistakably human. "We hear you. Keep coming toward the light." I'm running faster now, hope surging through me like electricity. The passage is narrowing, the walls becoming more rock-like. The light is growing brighter. I can almost see figures silhouetted against the glow. Human shapes, reaching out. But as I get closer, something's wrong. The light isn't the white beam of headlamps or rescue flares. It's red, pulsing, and the figures, their proportions are wrong. Too tall, too thin, their arms too long, ending in what can't possibly be hands. And they're not calling my name anymore. They're making that sound, that wet, gurgling drainpipe sound. I skid to a stop, terror freezing me in place. The passage behind me is sealed now. There's nowhere to go but forward, toward those things masquerading as my rescuers. As they move closer, the red light illuminates them clearly for the first time. They're not human, not even close. They're like walking sculptures made of the same tissue as the walls, humanoid only in the most basic sense. Where faces should be, they have only folds and orifices that pulse rhythmically. Their limbs bend at impossible angles, and they're reaching for me. I back away until I hit the sealed passage behind me. One of the creatures extends its arm, stretching it impossibly long, like softened taffy, and touches my face with appendages that feel like wet fingers. A voice that is somehow both inside and outside my head whispers, "Welcome home." And the worst part, for a moment, just a moment, it feels right. Like I belong here. Like we all do eventually. The bottom of the abyss isn't a place. It's a transition, and I'm changing now. I can feel it. My skin is becoming sensitive in new ways. I'm starting to sense things without seeing them. The darkness doesn't seem so dark anymore. I'm fighting it. God help me. I'm fighting it with everything I have. But I don't know how much longer I can hold out. The creatures are all around me now. The knot hands gentle but insistent as they pull me deeper into their communal body. If any part of me remains to tell this story, let it serve as a warning. Some depths were never meant to be plumbed. Some abysses look back into you. And sometimes, when you descend far enough, you don't come back up. You become the bottom, and the bottom welcomes you home. Dear listener, thank you for staying with me until the end of this story. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Many more terrifying, mysterious, and thrilling stories are coming soon. See you again very soon.